Welcome, everyone. Today, we are discussing demonstrating academic library value, a critical competency for modern librarians. As you enter the field, you will find that the conversation around libraries has shifted significantly. We are moving beyond the era of assumed importance and into an era of evidence-based impact. This presentation serves as a roadmap for that transition. It is no longer enough to simply exist as a repository of books. We must actively prove how we contribute to the broader success of our universities and colleges. Throughout this lecture, we will explore the strategies and metrics you will need to master to advocate for your library effectively. Let's begin by looking at the context of our profession. Historically, there was a traditional view where academic libraries were seen as symbols of intellectual heritage. In this view, the library's value was self-evident. Administrators funded the library simply because a great university had to have a great library. However, we must confront today's reality. That assumption is no longer sufficient. In the current landscape of higher education, characterized by budget cuts and performance-based funding, libraries must clearly demonstrate how they contribute to institutional success. We have to move away from relying on tradition or symbolic status and instead use evidence, measurable outcomes, and visible impact to justify our resources. Think of it this way. If you are asking for a budget increase, you cannot just say, "We need more books." You must explain how those books improve student grades or faculty grant approvals. So, where do we start? The foundation of our value is defined entirely by the institutional mission. As librarians, we must understand that the significance of an academic library is determined by how well it advances the mission of its parent institution. We must recognize our interdependence. Libraries do not exist independently. Our worth is measured by our contributions to teaching, learning, research, and service. This leads to strategic positioning. We must function as strategic partners fully integrated into the educational mission, rather than standalone entities operating on the periphery. Practical example: if your university's mission statement prioritizes community engagement, your library shouldn't just focus on internal archiving. You should be designing programs that open your archives to local schools or historical societies to directly support that university-wide goal. A major challenge in the library field is determining how to measure success, and this slide emphasizes that outcomes are significantly more important than mere activity. Traditionally, libraries have relied on activity metrics such as circulation counts, the number of instruction sessions held, and reference transactions. While these figures provide data on usage, they offer only limited insight into the actual educational impact of the library. Consequently, there is a need to shift toward an outcome focus that measures what students and faculty are actually able to accomplish as a result of engaging with the library. Simply counting library activities is only the starting point, because what truly matters is the tangible academic achievement that follows. To illustrate this with a practical example, instead of simply reporting that 50 students attended a workshop, which is merely an activity metric, an outcome-focused report would instead state that the students who attended that workshop cited 20% more peer-reviewed sources in their final papers, representing a true educational result. Student success serves as a central measure of value because academic libraries contribute to student success across the entire academic life cycle by creating environments and services that support persistence, achievement, and professional development. This impact is evident in enrollment decisions, where the library influences prospective students through quality facilities and resources. It continues with retention support, as libraries provide spaces, services, and assistance that help students persist in their studies. Furthermore, libraries provide learning enhancement by supporting academic engagement and skill development throughout the student journey. Finally, the library plays a role in graduation and career goals by helping students achieve academic milestones and professional objectives. Two essential partnerships define the operational value of the library. First, libraries act as partners in teaching and learning by playing an instructional role within higher education, where librarians collaborate with faculty, support curriculum design, teach research and information literacy skills, and contribute to learning assessment. These activities position libraries as educational partners rather than passive support units and ensure they are fully integrated into the pedagogical mission of the institution. Second, libraries support faculty research and scholarship by enabling research productivity and scholarly output. Through comprehensive access to resources, expert research consultations, data management support, and scholarly communication services, libraries help faculty produce impactful research which supports grant applications and enhances institutional reputation. The assessment framework requires moving beyond financial metrics to true impact. While responsible management of financial resources is an essential expectation of academic libraries, financial efficiency alone does not capture educational or scholarly value. Academic environments place greater emphasis on learning, research, and intellectual contribution than on financial return alone. Therefore, value lies in impact rather than use, meaning library value is best understood through the impact on the work of users rather than through simple usage statistics. Value is created when library services improve how students learn, how faculty teach, and how researchers generate knowledge, which focuses on meaningful results rather than transactional metrics. Building a sustainable assessment culture requires systematic assessment that involves consistent and coordinated efforts across library services. This process relies on evidence gathering to collect meaningful data on impact and outcomes. It enables informed decisions by using evidence to guide strategy and resource allocation. Strategic communication is also necessary to translate evidence into institutional language. Throughout this process, ethical practice is paramount, meaning libraries must protect user privacy while demonstrating value. Ultimately, demonstrating value requires consistent and coordinated assessment efforts because isolated studies or one-time measures are insufficient for tracking impact over time. Action steps for librarians center on strategic engagement and communication. Active institutional engagement involves participating proactively in accreditation, assessment, and strategic planning initiatives to position the library as a contributor to institutional success rather than a passive service provider. Effective stakeholder communication requires translating library contributions into institutional language and communicating evidence in ways that resonate with leaders, faculty, students, and external audiences. Finally, accountability should be viewed as improvement, meaning librarians should use accountability pressures constructively to support reflection and alignment with institutional goals rather than serving only as justification mechanisms. The academic library must function as a strategic institution that creates enduring value by integrating mission alignment, impact assessment, ethical practice, and effective communication. Its relevance in contemporary higher education depends on actively supporting learning, research, and institutional goals. This requires being mission-driven by aligning with institutional priorities and strategic objectives. It must be evidence-based by demonstrating impact through systematic assessment and research. It needs to be ethically grounded by balancing accountability with professional values and user privacy. Finally, the library must be continuously evolving by contributing to ongoing research and advancing professional practice. The future of academic libraries lies not in defending their traditional status, but in demonstrating their indispensable role in achieving institutional excellence through measurable and meaningful impact on student success and scholarly achievement.